Today I guess I'm going to show you how to replace your bar mounts. I've already removed one. Before I even removed the bars, I broke the nuts loose. This is common across CRs, some WRs and YZs I think, and some KXs. So maybe KTM too. I'm not 100% on that. I'm not a big KTM fan. But so all you got to do is break it loose, get your bars off, and get your bottom lock nut off. Wow, fucking fun. Now when you replace your bar mounts, I very highly recommend replacing your cushions too. In fact, cushions, anytime you bend your bar mount posts, well, first off, if it's a pain in the ass because it's really bent, you're going to be sitting here twisting and pulling for a minute. And if you have to, use like a big flat blade screwdriver or a pry bar, and it's probably going to be a pain in the ass because this one's the bent one and I just knocked everything off of my foot peg. So anytime I replace these, I always replace the cushions. If you're going with the same bar mount that you had before, I know Pro Taper makes just a bar mount bolt kit where you can replace the bolt kit. And I'm just going to use this bar mount to push the old cushion out of the bottom. Ta-da! These are Renthals. I'm switching to Pro Taper on this since I'm running Pro Taper everything now apparently. So that's removal. Basic and easy. Installation takes a little bit more. So give me 1 second while I get everything set up. I've got everything unpackaged, everything ready to go in. The new rubbers are from Pro Taper. They have like a little flat edge. I'm just going to put this thing facing towards the rear of the bike just because. So when you go together with these though, they are going to have a lot of gap on them that you are going to smash down eventually, but it's going to prevent installation for the main bolt. So with a little rubber persuasion, we can get a nice start on at least the top one. Now, oh god, this is super tight. So with the new bar mount, you're just going to take, of course, the nut off and the washer off with it, which I'll get to the washer here in a minute. You're just going to set that off to the side. So with these bar mounts, there's a more forward position and a rear position on these things. I prefer the forward position on this machine because it gives you more of an aggressive stance. You're more over the bars all the time, and you know, better for cornering, handling, and overtaking obstacles. So I'm just going to set him up in there and push him all the way down, and the bolt on the inside is what I'm pushing down. Oh, wait, we're missing something here. Don't forget your washer. Don't forget the washer. It comes with the rubber kit, not the bar mount kit. The bar mount washer we're going to get to here in a second. So I pushed the bolt all the way down. I'm going to set this wrench down. And our bottom rubber, we're just going to hold the bolt in place while we set it up. I'm not going to put the washer for the nut on yet because there are very minimal threads showing on the bottom of this, and I don't want to take threads off as I try and install one single nut on a stud and ruin my brand new bar mounts. So all I'm doing is getting it somewhat started, taking a ratchet wrench, which is very useful for this. A socket and a ratchet, yes, you can get this done. It's just going to take longer. If that's all you have, that's all you can do for the moment. But this makes it so much quicker and easier than the XY. That's why I recommend the ratchet wrench. You get much more out of it. And I'm just going to where it starts getting really tight. Going to hold the bar mount somewhat straight, as humanly as possible. That way I don't have to fight that much in the future. It's getting pretty stiff. So now take off the nut. I mean, you could probably get away without the washer, but you know, if it's comes with the equipment, I'm going to use it. So take the nut off, washer, and I'm putting the sharp edge of the washer towards the mount surface. Put the nut back on, and we're going to go until we get that same tension again. Same tension. And lots of ratcheting. Alright, starting to get pretty tight, but I can still move the bar mount pretty easily with my hands. Now, I'm going to take the top of the bar mount clamp off, set it off to the side. We're going to get our bars set up. Now with your bars, I do have a separate video for this, but all you want to do is pretty much get these bar mounts twisted to where you're actually sitting down inside the bar mounts on both of them. As close to humanly possible. So all I'm going to do is line it up, get it as even as possible in between each gap. And with these Pro Taper bars, they come with a pretty sweet setup on them to where you're able to actually tell the gap between one and the other. And I'm just going to finger start these bolts, and when I go down with them, or tighten them down, I'm going to try and keep the same gap between the front and the back. That's the whole goal. If you have too much on one side, you leave a flex point on the other, which will allow your bars to twist. So all I'm going to do is get all set up. I like it pretty much standard, right in the center with this setup. So just going to where it touches, putting the final little bit on. The gap is pretty even. There is a little more on this side. That is much more even. Going to do the same thing on the opposite side. Whoops, that was too much. Got them nice and tight. That's not very even. That is much gooder. Alright, and my gap is still the same between bar mount to bar mount. And I've got it set up center to center. There is no mark on the bar mount, so I have to visually go off of the logo, which, you know, the A is pretty much the center on the Pro Taper ones. But there's that. And now you can put your final torque on your bar mounts. And you're going to go from one side to another. You're going to put a lot on one, and then you're going to go over and do the other side. And all you're doing is smashing down these rubber mounts. And you're going to go quite a bit. It's going to get really tough. Pretty tough there. Pretty tough. So, off to the other side. I'm stepping all over everything. Turn the bars. I'm sorry. And I'm doing the same thing over here. I'm going to go to where it's really tight. Pretty tight. Back over to this side. We're going to make sure we have the same tight feeling. This has got a little tiny bit looser. So we're just going a little more. Smashing those rubber cones into their slots. Pretty tight. Going back over here. Pretty tight. And Your rubber should be evenly smashed down. You should have a little bit of protrusion on both bottom and top, and that's good. You're golden. You can put your bar pad back on, and there is no necessity to taking off your controls. I have a video on that. I'll probably link it right now. So there you go. That's replacing bar mounts. Bars are all set up, ready to rock and roll again. And like I said before, if you just bend the actual bolt itself, Pro Taper offers a kit. I'm switching this whole bike over to Pro Taper. There was Renthal mounts on this, and this is why I did the swap over. I'm sure Renthal offers a bolt kit for theirs too. If you really mess up your bike where your bars are bent and your mounts are really messed up, there's still a chance that your actual mounts are still good, but that's all a visual inspection. So mine was just the bolts, didn't matter to me. I'm upgrading anyways. I'm switching this whole thing over to Pro Taper, like I said. La-di-da-di-da. But all in all, that is how you replace your bar mounts. Did yourself a good job. Look at that. Nice and sweet, all black. Cheers.